Hi, I'm Dennis Phillips, and welcome to Everyday Reloading and Shooting. One of the comments I've gotten from viewers on more than one occasion is about how I sort my brass and the fact that I don't sort by head stamp. What I had been doing is sorting by case weight, because if the external dimensions of the case are the same, then the case weight would indicate a difference in the thickness of the case wall and therefore a difference in the case volume. But a lot of people have said that I need to be using all the same head stamp. So I thought about that and I thought, well, let's give that a try. Let's test it and see. So I was looking online at Hornady brass, and their brass through Midway USA was about 60 cents a round, which I guess seems reasonable for brand new, newly manufactured brass. But they also had this, what they call their training ammo, which is 55 grain full metal jacket, and it's rated at 3,240 feet per second, and it's 50 rounds of ammo, and this box was $30. That's 60 cents per round. So for the cost of an unloaded round of Hornady brass, I can buy a round of loaded Hornady brass, and I get to keep the case after I shoot it. So it's like buying the case already loaded with bullet, powder, and primer. So I've got 300 rounds of this. I've shot 100 on this test that you'll see here shortly. But in any event, a bargain, I think, and it seems like really good brass too. So we shall see how they perform. All right, we're back at the Georgia Gun Club, and today I'm going to be shooting this Hornady 223 55 grain training ammo. I have no idea how accurate it will be, but I'm going to be shooting 10 shot groups at 25 yards with my AR556. We'll see how they perform. All right, so sit back and enjoy. You're welcome to enjoy the music while I fast forward through my shooting, or you can skip forward to the results at the end. All right, it seemed like these all did pretty well, so let's bring them in and take a look. All right, so after this fifth group, they all were shooting pretty tight, and after this fifth group, I adjusted it one click to the right. I didn't adjust the scope downward at all, but for some reason it started shooting down and to the right, even though I adjusted it one click to the left. I may have to check to see if it's tight, but in any event, those are 10 shot groups. but we'll take them home, measure them, analyze them, and see how they compare. All right? All right, so here are my results from the range shooting my Ruger AR556 at 25 yards. I'm shooting already loaded Hornady 55 grain full metal jacket, what they call their training bullets, and these are rated at 3,240 feet per second. So I measured these a little bit differently. What you're used to seeing is a 5-shot group where I measure the extreme spread and the best 4 out of 5. But what I'm doing here is I'm shooting 10 10-shot groups. And as you see from the photo here, I've segregated this target into 2 sections. There's box 1 and box 2 because I noticed that the last 5 targets shot differently from the first 5 targets. And we'll take a look at some reasons why there. But I've segregated this in terms of the box numbers of ammo that I used. So here on our first group, we basically ate up that target, that bullseye. Every round was touching. And then on the second one, we had 9 out of 10 inside of that target area with 1 flyer. So we had a .82 group and a 1.32 group. And then we continue shooting. This, again, this is the same load. We get to target number 3. Everything is inside of the target area except for 1 flyer. We've got a group of 1.23. And then I suppose that this is probably because the barrel is heating up. The rounds begin to drop somewhat. Here they're pretty much on center, and here they're pretty much clustered on the lower edge or the lower half of that target area. And more of these are now outside. The group is the same size, about 1.22. It's actually a little tighter because we didn't have that flyer, but we've got all of our shots clustering together right here. And then when we get to our last group, they're shooting even more outside of that target area and down to the right. So I think that's probably because of the barrel heating up. So here also, I'm going to insert a video here where you can see where when I was shooting the first 5 targets, notice I had a bag. It's actually a sock that I filled with rice and used a zip tie to tie it off. But I used that rice-filled bag on top of the X block to elevate my rifle barrel, and I also use a second one on top of my Caldwell rear stock support, and I use that in my first 5 targets. Well, it seems a little uncomfortable or a little high, so anyway, in the second video here, I make an adjustment, and I turn the X block, and get rid of those bags, and I start shooting without those bags. I'm also shooting a second group of targets, and I'm also shooting with a hot barrel. So now we go to box 2, and it took me a little bit to reload, so I guess that gave the barrel a little time to cool off. So, and also, since it was shooting to the right, I did adjust the scope 1 click to the left. So we have 8 out of 10 touching the target area and 2 that are shooting low. So it is still trending a little bit low. I come down to my next group, and this is odd. It's shooting in kind of a V shape. So we've got 1, 2, probably 3 that are outside the target area, but it's trending low and trending to the right again. And I think this is due to the barrel heating up. On our 8th target, all of the shots are outside of the target area. Oh, I should point out, though, that we had a .89 group, so we're still under an inch. And here we're at 1.19 inches, although nothing's inside of the target area. Everything is outside. And when we get to our last row, we're back into the target area, still shooting low, but we've got a 1.18 group. And we've got a 1.11 group over here. Everything's outside the target area. But here we have a mean radius of .40. I'm going to insert a picture here to give you an illustration of what we mean by mean radius. If you look at the photo on your left, you'll see a white X about right here. And that's the center of the average radius of all of these shots that are fired. If you average all of these, and you'll see the line that goes from here to here, that measures your extreme spread, and then off to the side of that there's a white X, and then the red cross here in the center is my point of aim. And so that little white X right there is the average center. So what the mean radius is telling you is that your aim was here, this is where your group was centered, and so each of these measurements to each one of these bullet holes is the average by which you missed your point of aim. Although your point of aim is here, this is where the group is centering. And that's what I'm also calling your point of aim, because if you adjusted the scope correctly, then that would move that point of impact here to your point of aim. On our last group that we shot in box 1, we had a mean radius of 0.31, and on the first two groups we had a mean radius of 0.28 and 0.27. So it does appear that the rounds did not shoot as well as the barrel heated up. But I'm very pleased with the mean radius of 0.28 and 0.27 on this first group. At 25 yards with a mean radius of 0.40, this is still lethal. It's a very tight group. But I thank you for your time. I thank you so very much for watching. So if you have any ideas or thoughts about this video, please feel free to leave a comment below. Or if there's anything that you would like to see in the future, please let me know that. I always try to interact with everyone who comments, and I hope that you will like and share this with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.